spectacular point. I mean, Michigan is a well, it's a great program, obviously, anyway. But with the up-and-coming coaching staff that Harbaugh, has coming in now with the new AD, you got Ward Manuel checking in. It's a great program to start producing, head hunting linebackers like Luke Kuechly. I mean, I'm not calling him head hunting as being dirty. I mean, like hard hitting players. What I mean. Yeah, you can see that coming in Michigan. That's a good point. But going back to the Super Bowl, I think that Carolina, gosh almighty, on fire. This is the one game, though. Carolina's been missing Peanut Tillman for about, 6 games, I believe. This is the one game where it's going to finally catch up to them. I really honestly think that without Peanut in the backfield to control the Sheriff and to control the Sheriff's targets, I think leaves more of an opening for the Sheriff to, ride off into the sunset. And
Omaha.
Movie script says he will ride off to Omaha as the sun's setting, in his foreground for him, our background. But the Sheriff should be able to get the job done. But I don't think the game is going to be as close as you think.
Yeah.
Again, without Peanut Tillman in there. I think you're right. I think Vegas knows what they're doing, Andy. But I really honestly think that Denver comes out and wins the game by 7. And before you say, well, that's a close score, it's only one score. It's still 7 points, and it's still gambling. Yep. So I think Denver wins by 7. I think it's just that simple.
And let's face it, Denver was there a couple years ago. I know they got blown out, but they got a little experience. Carolina, this is their first time. Let's face it, this is going to be the biggest pressure.
Second time.
No, I'm sorry. First time in a long time.
Okay,
for this team.
Yes.
They haven't had this much pressure all year long. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It's a different game.
Yeah.
I think the narrative, everyone's talking about Peyton Manning, Cam Newton. I think the narrative comes down to is can Carolina's defense stop Peyton Manning? Which I think they can, because to me Peyton's slow, he's old. What happened to Demaryius Thomas? That guy used to be a beast. I don't see him do much anymore.
But he schooled Slay.
Oh yeah,
well, come on now.
Darius Slay.
Darius Slay's still a little green. But what gets me though, not so much the Peanut Tillman. You got Josh Norman, you got Kuechly, you got a mean defensive front. I think I like Carolina's defense as it pertains to having to stop Peyton Manning. As much as I love Denver's defense, I love me some Von Miller. DeMarcus Ware's a beast. They got dudes in the secondary that straight swarm like bees. But I don't think that defense is strong enough to beat Cam. I think that's
it really depends also on what the tone of the refs too. If the refs allow that play to be a physical game, then Carolina's going to have their way in that game because Carolina's corners are very physical.
Yep.
Josh Norman can get up in your face, which is why a lot of people get pissed at him based off the physicality of the Carolina secondary. But I think that's going to set the tone for everything else. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that there is one thing that is going in Carolina's favor, and Josh Norman told the media that he was a huge fan of Peyton growing up. So not only is he watching film on Peyton of the Peyton this year, but he's going to be remembering the Peyton of the years before when he was watching him. But I also think that Josh Norman is a little starstruck, and you can sort of see it in his interview. Now, this might be a little bit of a stretch. I guess that's what I do, stretch spyback. But you know what? I honestly think that he might be a little nervous going up against Peyton in the Super Bowl, and I think that Josh Norman can get schooled.
Start calling him Achilles.
Especially since you brought him up. I think that he'll get schooled if he doesn't get over the starstruck pretty soon.
I'm not seeing the starstruckness. What I do know is, as a unit, when Carolina wants to play together, and I'm going to refer back to that Giants game, when they were all ready to take on Odell Beckham Jr., they came out with the baseball bats. I love that. I thought that was sweet. I think the same thing applies now. They're going to rally around Cam, all this narrative that we're hearing, all this nonsense talk about black quarterback this, blah, blah, blah. Throw it out the window. They're going to come together. I think they're going to take care of the Broncos.
So from listening to you, if you were to play football and you were a running back and you ran an 80-yard play up the middle, you would turn around and stick your finger in the guy's face and say, "I just scored on your ass, right?"
Let's not relieve the Western Wayne Conference Fortune days.
Actually, that'd be
I went to Fortune.
No, I'm not mean necessarily, but I enjoy that.
I'm kidding. I'm teasing.
Sure.
I'm teasing.
I think it's pretty sweet.
How about Golden Tate when he played for the Seattle Seahawks on Monday Night Football? I couldn't stand it. Against the Rams, he scored about 60-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
50 yards before he scored the ball, he's backpedaling and pointing in the guy's face, running another 50 yards. It pissed me off when I saw that crap.
I think I'm a hot dog fan as a food. I guess I don't mind a little bit my athletes.
Yeah, all right. As long as you don't eat hot dogs on your pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza Hut.
And everything that goes corresponding with that with Jim Harbaugh this week recruiting. Let's talk about Michigan a little bit because the Manuel hiring yesterday it's been kind of a busy week in sports, and keep in mind that after the Super Bowl things kind of it's the dead period of time in sports outside of August. But the new athletic director at U of M,
Jim Harbaugh,
Warren Manuel, who was part of the '86 club that Jim Harbaugh was part of. So and it is kind of almost sets the tone that, and there's going to be a lot of letting Jim Harbaugh do what he wants to do. And some of the comments he was saying earlier in the week that I thought were interesting, and I thought were true as well. He wants to make everything transparent. That there's a lot of double standards in college football, and his answer to criticism was, "We don't hide how we operate." Quote, and I thought that was a good quote. And he's rubbed to the right. The things have been a little bit obnoxious, a little bit, but. Fredi, I'll start with you in terms of what Manuel will do. Well, he'll just pretty much, to me at least, will allow Harbaugh to do his thing. Is he more of a figure? Is Manuel going to be a figurehead, or is he going to be an athletic director that is going to continue to allow Michigan to grow? Because I think that's what he's going to be. He's going to allow Michigan to make money and let Harbaugh do his thing.
Well, Harbaugh runs that. Harbaugh runs that program. Let's face it. But I didn't really hear much or see much of the conference, so I can't really speak much. But I noticed one thing about the press conference yesterday. He only talked about Harbaugh. What about John Beilein? He didn't even mention John Beilein.
Right. Well, the women's softball team is ranked second in the country.
That's the only thing. So to me, it's all about Harbaugh. I mean, Harbaugh's our captain. Didn't he say Harbaugh's our captain? Or he's our captain?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't hear it.
I'm like, so to me,
that's going to be my comment.
You didn't bring. The only thing I gotta say is he didn't bring up John Beilein. He just took us to a national championship. Excuse me. He took Michigan to the national championship 2-3 years ago. So, I mean, what's the underlining there? Is it just all about Harbaugh and about Michigan football? You got other programs. You got other softball, basketball,
lacrosse,
hockey. So that's. I hope they just don't focus on football. They didn't bring him in just to focus on football. Is what I'm saying. That's really all I can speak on that. So.
Well, and as it pertains to the AD, Roger, really. The last time Michigan had an AD, in my mind, that his face and name was out there, who was the dude that just left, and now he's part of the pizza joints? Who was the AD?
Oh, David Brandon.
He's with Toys R Us now.
There it is. He's a Toys R Us kid.
He's ruining kids' Christmas.
Yeah. But so to me, an AD should just be a figurehead. I don't want to know the AD's name, but whose name I do want to know? Harbaugh's, Beilein's,
Little Hopkins.
Who's the gal's coach for the softball?
It's Carol Hopkins.
Carol Hopkins. Something like that. She's
Yeah.
fantastic, dude. So to me, the AD is just an AD. He is a figurehead. To me, be a bean counter. Stay in the background. Don't sweat it. But you're right, Fredi. It's Harbaugh. He's the one making the money.
And real quick, I think Hackett was really smart leaving because he left on top. And let's just face it, this Harbaugh thing may blow up in 2 or 3 years. It just may blow up because everywhere he's been, it's blown up. And Hackett leaves with the legacy of bringing Harbaugh in, but he won't be there when it blows up, if it blows up.
We want to thank everybody that's listening this morning. So we have quite a regulars listening. So we want to thank you for listening while you're having your morning cup of coffee, or unofficially Canadian Club if you're a baller, shot caller kind of person. Text us in, by the way, 313-888.
Elvis is listening.
So we got Elvis in the background there. Pete, go ahead.
What I was going to say about Ward Manuel coming in as the new AD of Michigan, this could be doomed. Absolute doom. The only problem is that that's distracting.
It's going to go off in a second. Sorry, I can't turn it off.
The problem with Ward Manuel is that he's Jim Harbaugh's buddy. Here's one thing: you can't be somebody's boss when you're somebody's buddy.
Yep.
Okay, you just can't do it.
Nope.
This hire was brought in. Did you see how Ward Manuel accepted the job? I think he said, "Hell yeah."
Yep.
When he was asked about, are you interested in the Michigan job? He's like, "Well, hell yeah." Okay, look, defensive back from 86 to 89. Hell of a defensive back who caused a lot of havoc back in the secondary. And I remember watching him when I was growing up. So he called Harbaugh his captain. No. Roles have been reversed here, Mr. Manuel. You are now captain of the ship. So my whole point is I'm a little worried about how much power that Manuel is going to give Harbaugh. And like you said, what about the softball team? What about the basketball team? Freddie, you hit the nail on the head again. You stole my thunder once. Now you stole my thunder.
Sorry.
So it's all right.
Go to him first. Go to him first.
You guys are in my brains and you're scaring me. But that's what I wanted to say is that this hire might be quickly changed within about 5 years.
Dave?
The only reason why it's going to change is not because of the football program going downhill, but because of all the other programs going downhill. Because I don't see how much attention the softball team, the hockey team, the basketball team is going to get when Jimmy Harbaugh's buddy, beer captain buddy, I don't know if he's beer buddies. I probably shouldn't have said that, but you know what I mean.
Dave, you want a slice of pizza?
Holding hands buddy hanging out there. I don't know if he's going to be the answer that Michigan's looking for. I think Michigan lost their true. Jim Hackett would have laid down the law, and Jim Hackett would have made it a lot better.
Yes.
You don't think so? I think that he made it a lot better in
Jim
one year that he was
Jim
there.
Hackett's smart. He left.
Absolutely.
He left right in time.
Because he could see the doom coming. Especially with Ward Manuel here.
Look, I think this, okay. Jim Harbaugh is going to do whatever he wants to do because Jim Harbaugh is going to. Michigan football makes money. It makes money hand over fist, and it's going to continue to make money that way. There's no reason to mess up the system. When it happened before, when Michigan cronies or whatever happened with Rich Rod, and that whole thing happened, there's too many Michigan men or mafia, whatever you want to call it, that unofficial thing out there.
I like mafia.
Michigan mafia.
Hey.
Yeah.
Added one. Sorry, Mr. Manuel.
Michigan gang of people.
There you go.
Just added one.
Quote unquote. There's too many of that out there to let this. Michigan's getting all this attention.
Boy.
They're in the national press all the time with Jim Harbaugh. He's going to let him do his thing, and he's going to worry about making money and maybe strengthening the coffers for in other departments, such as the basketball program. Michigan basketball is it needs to be a little more high recruit because you have Steve Smith over Michigan State giving out money. You have donors. And right now, Michigan, in terms of basketball, doesn't have a strong alumni presence. The football will always be there.
Right.
And I think what Manuel's going to do is reach out to alum on Michigan's and other sports and strengthen that. They have a very good swimming program. They have a very good gymnastics program. Michigan is a lot known for other things outside of football.
Exactly.
You know, in terms of we take off our Ann Arbor glasses in this area.
They have a pool league?
I think he's just going to run the business side of things, let Harbaugh do his thing.
Yeah.
And as long as Harbaugh's not saying anything racist or stupid, he should be fine. Jim Harbaugh is his own man. He'll do what he's got to do, bring the recruits, and all that matters, if he's not winning, then they're going to have that conversation.
Love him on Twitter. Love him.
Should Harbaugh recruit a Cam Newton, you think, Freddie, or what? Bud?
He's got his guy. He's got Will Gentry, right? He's a big boy, 6'7", 240, right?
Quarterback?
Well, not Gentry. Yeah, is it Will Gentry?
Yeah, it's Gentry.
But I think they're moving him to tight end.
Yeah.
And by the way, let me say, let's introduce Dave over here. Dave, what paper are you with?
News Herald.
News Herald. Let's give him a plug up.
There you go.
News Herald.
Welcome, Dave.
Right, shine the camera on him a little bit. David's taking some pictures of our podcast. Are you listening, right? Take some pictures. Shine the video on him real quick.
I have a tweet here from Tijuana's.
That's David from the News Herald.
In Tijuana's, Mexican.
That's my boy.
Let's see what they were talking about. Because Tijuana's did not mention. It must be Cam Newton. Great two-way quarterback. Very accurate this year. Made Ginn look great. Not enough to beat Denver. So that's Tijuana's.
By the way, Tijuana's, you can find their locations in Lincoln Park and Allen Park as well.
And Dearborn.
So their location in Southfield is at Dick's.
And a free plug.
Good friends of mine.
Dick's and Southfield. And then the Lincoln Park location, I believe there's one on 4th Street as well.
Yeah. They come and eat all the time.
Great guys.
Dave knows the
Great
place.
place to get a burrito, guys. Anything. So, but I mean, Andy, in terms of looking, you kind of peeked up a little bit about women's softball. This is the only time we'll probably hear about women's softball. Sorry,
I wouldn't mind inviting a couple of them here.
Overall,
I'll tell you that.
he's gonna
Free pizza.
with the weight,
More than free
he's gonna
pizza.
make $700,000 a year. So he's getting a lot of money, and I think he's going to. I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think he's just gonna straighten the coffers everywhere else?
I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. You know, you're the AD of Michigan. To me, the job runs itself. I mean, basically, just don't puke on yourself. But